This call is now being recorded.
Ma'am, your
Ma'am,
microphone is mute.
Yes, sir. Now, I request Dr. Vivekanand Kattimani, NSS Coordinator, to give a welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Asha, for a warm welcome to all the dignitaries. And I am very happy and overwhelmed because this is a third program what we are conducting within this month, starting from Gandhi Jayanti. So at the outset, let me brief about NSSL and NSSL activities so that the people who have joined and the speaker who is there here, so they could able to understand what are the nature of activities we are carrying out during COVID and even lockdown period. So once again, I welcome as a NSS coordinator of Dr. NTR Health University from NSSL, from all the healthcare professionals and NSS volunteers family. So welcome you, madam, once again from my side, and I welcome our Vice Chancellor sir and Registrar sir for the program too. So with this welcome, let me give a welcome address. Today we have kept Poshan Maha, Nutrition Month. It is one of the privileged program by Government of India. It was there since long time, but now it has taken a different shape under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Because today's youth, if they want to be healthy, the nutrition has to be very good. Then only we can build a nation. Otherwise, it is very difficult to build a nation with a weak, diseased people. That's why we want to be healthy as a healthcare worker. Every time we will be ready to serve. But if we want to serve, then if we are not healthy, then it is very difficult to become a patient. So we don't want to become a patient. Instead, we want to become a doctor to treat others. That means we should be healthy. How the health can be maintained? It's not a thin and lean. The health can be maintained with a healthy diet. So which will be telling within a few couple of minutes by Soumya Gupta, where you will be listening to her voice. Recently, we have conducted lot many programs on Gandhian ethics and leadership qualities. Even in COVID era, we have registered more than 5,500 volunteers as a COVID warriors who are working around the clock in Andhra Pradesh state. And from NTR University, NSSL, I have been in charge for the COVID warriors. And our registrar sir and vice chancellor sir has taken a very good initiative, and always they are supportive to do all these activities. And we have started a COVID portal for training all the volunteers, including students. Almost we are having 82 colleges and n number of students who are trained themselves in COVID portal, because more than 10 WHO programs and Indian government IGOT programs, all the programs have been put in one single page of a Dr. NTR Health University website, where all the programs will be trained by the volunteers, and they have to submit the certificate, because that's how we ask the compliance, because we don't want health care workers to get affected, because manpower is very, very essential. There's also trained manpower, which is very much essential to treat the patient. Okay, so this is a very brief about the COVID. Then since COVID lockdown, our people are working. I know there are some stress because every day they have to go with a N95 marks. It's very difficult to breathe, and they are unable to have properly timely food because they cannot remove the PPE within a short duration. So in such circumstances also, even though they are undergraduate students, they are working for this COVID containment and COVID education of the patients, and so many ways the volunteers are working. And the university as a nodal agency, and college principals are also supporting. Many of the college principals are with us, and managements are helping us to do all these activities. So now we are at the juncture where our health is very important. Until unless we are healthy, we cannot make somebody else healthy. That's why during the nutrition month, even though volunteers are locked down at home, but they are doing a good job by spreading a message through their group and their family members. Because many times what happens as a doctor, if you tell to your family member, probably they will not listen, because that's a proverb where your people will not listen. But you should make sure that you should be very effective at home. Then only you can make others also be effective when you are going to talk and when you are going to tell them, yes, you're supposed to do. So in the scenario, even though we're all doctors, there are many specialist doctors are there who have joined for our program. But by keeping nutrition program, especially for healthcare workers in COVID era, because it's very essential. that we need to understand some aspects. Yes, we know everybody will eat since birth. After born, the mother will feed the baby with milk to have immunoglobulins, which will be secreted through the milk. And later, the mother is going to feed the baby with a very good, nutritious food. And it keeps on going until we go away from this earth. But somewhere we will lack because of the notions, because of the preconceived ideas. Otherwise, it may be a peer pressure that we don't want to be put on. I don't know what the meaning of put on. Probably Soumya Gupta in her lecture, she may tell how we supposed to be healthy with a healthy food. Okay, so with this welcome address, now I thank once again everybody, including participants, and be patient and don't turn on your presentation. Just you listen because madam is going to talk, and you should open your ears, eyes. Then only you can receive. The receipt of the message is possible only if you are going to attentive. Be attentive for next 40 minutes until Soumya madam finishes her talk. Then you will have a question answer where you can send the questions on a chat box, and even a WhatsApp group team leaders already we have informed. So which will be moderated by the people, and they will be conveying the questions to madam, and you have got a time to question and listen to the answers. So with this, I thank Asha for giving me the opportunity to give a welcome address. So now I request Asha to go ahead with the further program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your welcome address, sir. Now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shyam Prasad Garu, to inaugurate the program with an inaugural address. Over to you, sir. Shyam Prasad, sir, can you please unmute yourself, sir? Shyam Prasad, sir, I am requesting you to please unmute yourself, sir.
Shyam Prasad sir, your microphone is in mute, sir. We are unable to hear you, sir. Asha, sir is available?
Sir is in unmute, sir. Mute, sir.
Okay, sir is in mute, but sir is in meeting only.
Yes, sir. He's in meeting, sir.
Okay. Give me a moment of time. I'll try to call him. Okay.
Sure,
on his number,
sir,
and I'll tell him. Sir is speaking. You could able to see his screen?
No, sir. I just able to see his name only, sir.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. And meanwhile, you can continue with the program. So
Okay,
once
sir.
sir
Thank
comes
you,
back, then he will give his welcome address.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I know everyone is eagerly waiting to listen the webinar. So now I hand over this session to Niharika to please give a brief introduction about the chief guest and all the dignitaries. Over to you, Niharika.
Thank you, Asha. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all the distinguished dignitaries for their valuable inputs at the beginning of the program. Now, I take this privilege to introduce our most awaited chief guest for today's session, Ms. Soumya Gupta. Ma'am has completed her Master's in Clinical Nutrition and Dietetics from the prestigious SNDT University, Mumbai, and she has been trained under and is working with the well-known national figure, Ms. Rujuta Divekar, as a senior nutritionist since then. She has graced many professional developmental programs in the UK, USA, Ireland, and has delivered innumerable talks in certain webinars, conclaves, and educational institutes. The number of accolades.
Sir, we'll be waiting for 2 minutes for Niharika to give the introduction to the speaker. Then you can speak, sir. A few moments, sir.
Sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. The number of accolades for which ma'am can be credited is too long to put up in this talk right now. And I know everyone is eagerly waiting for ma'am to speak for today's session, that is nutrition for healthcare professionals in the COVID era. Therefore, now I request ma'am to enlighten all of us on this very relevant matter. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Niharika. Before Soumya madam speaks, I request our Vice Chancellor to give the welcome address because sir is back Sir, please go ahead, sir.
Yes,
You can unmute the microphone. Sir, microphone is in mute condition, sir. Sir, still in the microphone mute condition, sir. Sir, it is not audible, sir. Sir, you kindly unmute the microphone, sir. It is not audible.
So press on the red button.
Sir, your microphone is in mute, sir.
So there is a mic symbol at the bottom of the screen, sir. If you tap it, then it will become unmuted, sir.
Namaskaram. COVID-19.
Yes, I'm able to speak to you.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
yes,
Please
sir,
go
you are
ahead,
able
sir.
to speak to us, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Right. Sorry, friends. Technologically, I was on backwards seat. Dear friends, Shankar Garu, Dr. Vivek, Soumya, our rest of the coordinators, various volunteers, welcome today. We are hearing some important news from the great nutritionist in the country, and a teammate is giving a lecture on various diet process. The diet contains the protein, carbohydrate, fat with minerals, vitamins, and trace elements. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
When going back, our elders in the ancient periods are eating well. There is no diseases at that time, and most of the diseases amicable to the normal nutrition individual. The incidence of disease, viral load or viral disease at the time are unknown, and most of them living very healthy life. But in the recent past, we are changing in the diet process. The thing is happening in here. What happened is there is some deficiencies in each one, starting with selenium, zinc, and your basic requirements for a body. And each diet depends upon the work you do it, how much time you are spending, physical exercises, mental ability to manage the show, and so on and so forth. But in the absence of these things, in the recent novelization or so-called in recent times, in the event of a disease, your requirement will be doubled, tripled, or you have to make the so-called the immunity in the body in a big way. As already Vivekananda said, that the human milk in the first 6 months of life depends upon breastfeeding. In breastfeeding, it contains a lot of immunoglobulins which prevents a disease for a newborn baby up to the period of 6 months to 1 year. Later, it develops natural herd immunity or immunity from other areas. So the diet depends upon initial stages in a liquid, milk, later it goes with the same thing what we have discussed. But depend upon an individual after 18, 19 years, he requires a different thing. Those people, athletes, those who are otherwise engaged, and those are the professionals require different diets which are more concentrated on vitamins, minerals, and zinc like rare selenium, zinc. These are all responsible. And we will hear from a big group like Soumya Gupta will deliver a lecture and nutrition to the COVID. COVID already has a thromboembolic manifestation in the body, requires some extraordinary important diet, which is more important. Diet plus psychotherapy or psychiatric evaluation is most important in the treatment of COVID. So I request all the people will hear from her the latest things are happening with COVID patient. Best wishes, madam. Go ahead. Thank you, Vivek, who has given me this small opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request ma'am to take over this session and enlighten all of us. Over to you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you have to unmute.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, NSS cell of Dr. NTR University of Health Sciences for having me here. Thank you, Niharika madam and Vivekanand sir for this huge opportunity. Thank you everyone for joining me on a Sunday morning. You are taking time out of your routine, joining me for this webinar. Thank you very, very much. I must say one thing, which is, all the NSS volunteers, all the medical students, all the doctors, you all are doing a great job. It's not just during COVID, but even other times that you all have been very important for us, and you all have been doing a very good job. It's just that COVID has highlighted your role, and I think it has led to appreciation and acknowledgement. But yes, thank you to each one of you. Like Vivekanand sir was saying, Sham sir was saying that these are tough times, and we all have always known that health is wealth, and a pandemic like COVID-19 has only revalidated this fact. But we all know that health cannot be built overnight. Health can be built through many, many days, weeks, months, and years of good habits. Good habits in our food, in our exercise, and in our overall lifestyle. So if we inculcate good habits in our daily routine, COVID, no COVID, that is when we will stay healthy, fit, and disease free. And when we are the real models, or even the real people who play the important role of taking care of patients, whether there's COVID or no COVID, I think it's y'all who have to take care of yourselves so that y'all can do your job well and take care of public, right? So today I am going to tell you 5 good habits that each one of you should follow so that you stay healthy, you stay fit, you stay disease free, and then you are able to take care of patients, family members, yourselves throughout COVID pandemic and even later. Okay. So my first tip that I would like to share with all of you is start your day with a fresh fruit or a handful of dry fruits. Okay. See, the reason why I'm saying this is, as students, as NSS volunteers, as family members, as doctors, we are used to waking up in the morning, and first thing we need is a chai or a coffee. Okay. And that's when we're able to start our day. But we all know that we wake up feeling a little low, a little lethargic, and we want to wake ourselves up. And that's what the chai is for. But if you have a fresh fruit or a handful of dry fruits within the first 15 minutes of waking up, then your blood sugars will be regulated for the rest of the day. This meal within the first 15 minutes of rising will ensure that your energy levels are good throughout the day. So for anyone who experiences headache, irritability, low energy levels, acidity, sugar cravings, it's very, very important that you wake up and you have a fresh fruit or you have a handful of dry fruits. Dry fruits like, raisins and almonds and walnut and date and fig. So it can be a combination of a nut and a dry fruit. Okay. So when should we have chai or coffee? Because that's what helps us to start our day. So you can have your chai and coffee 15 minutes after having the fruit, or 15 minutes after having your dry fruits. Okay. So this meal is very, very important to allow your body and mind to function optimally throughout the day without feeling a slump in energy or without being slowed down. Okay. It's a very easy tip, and I'm sure you will all see the difference once you try it. Okay. The second tip that I would like to give you is very, very important for all of you. The second tip is avoid long meal gaps. Okay. See, as students, as NSS volunteers, as doctors, you'll have a very, very busy schedule. And what happens in that process is that you pay less attention to yourself and you pay more attention to your job. In that process, we all at some point of time or the other start feeling weak or unhealthy or unfit. And like sir said that even Modi ji had said that hit India, fit India is going to stay hit India. So we have to start taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of our patients and everyone. So it's important that you make sure that you eat every 2 to 3 hourly throughout the day. So what can you do? We all have breakfast, we all have lunch, we all have dinner. Now we just need to fill the gaps between these big meals. So for everyone who's studying from home right now, for everyone who's contributing during the pandemic over phone through WhatsApp groups from home, for doctors or anyone who is stepping out of the house and attending patients, there are small things that you can do to look after yourself. So between breakfast and lunch, have a seasonal homemade sharbat. In Andhra Pradesh, there are so many seasonal and regional sharbats. Nimbu sharbat, which is also I think known as lime sharbat, lime juice, or coconut water, or in the season of summer, there is a raw mango juice that we make, or there's kokum sharbat, or there's imli sharbat. There are many, many sharbats that Andhra Pradesh, every house in Andhra Pradesh makes. Okay, so include a sharbat which is seasonal, which is homemade between breakfast and lunch. If a sharbat is not possible, then you could do a handful of peanuts, or a handful of cashew nuts. They are very, very good and rich sources of vitamin and minerals, especially minerals like zinc, copper, selenium, which Shyam sir was mentioning that if you are unhealthy, unfit, then your requirement for it increases. So right now, when you are going out and actually meeting patients or people who are unhealthy, unfit, it means that you have to take care of yourself and then take care of them. So between breakfast and lunch, have a sharbat, have a fruit, have cashew nuts, have peanuts. The other important meal in the day that we all have to take care of is our evening snack. Our evening snack, which is mostly between 4 to 6 p.m. That is the time when we all are very, very hungry and we don't know what to eat. So we mostly land up having one more cup of chai or coffee with some biscuits. But this meal is very important for our stress hormone called cortisol. Okay, so if we eat a wholesome snack like poha, idli chutney, fruit, or a sandwich, or vada, sambar, dosa, or laddu, then this meal will allow the stress hormone cortisol to dip naturally. So which means that if you are feeling a little anxious or you feel that your mood feels very dull, then this meal will take care of everything. Okay, it also takes care of how you eat your dinner. if you don't eat the evening snack, we all have experienced that at dinner we are very hungry and we overeat. Now, when we overeat at dinner, we eventually don't sleep well. So if you eat an evening snack anywhere between 4 to 6 p.m., then you will be able to eat a light dinner and sleep well. Now, these two things, which is your meal between breakfast and lunch and your evening snack, will make sure that you're energetic, your mood is good, you don't feel anxious or depressed, you are enjoying the work you do, you don't have sugar cravings or any trouble, and you're able to take each day as it comes, and you're not counting days when will this pandemic end, because you have all the energy to deal with everything that's coming your way. Okay, so my second tip is avoid big meal gaps and eat every 2 to 3 hours. My third tip that everyone must include in their daily routine is include a teaspoon of ghee in your breakfast, in your lunch, and in your dinner. You know, this tip is very, very special to me. Reason being, ghee is the most Googled word in abroad. So everyone in the abroad, in the Western countries, is Googling what is ghee, and they popularly call it as clarified butter. We all know what ghee is. We all know that our grandmothers have taught us to eat it. It is a time-tested food, a food that has been passed down to us through our oral food wisdom, right? So whether you're a North Indian or a South Indian or a person who belongs to West of India, East of India, we all have ghee in our diet. But like again, Sham sir said that with changes in diet patterns, we have forgotten ghee. We have stopped eating ghee because we have started fearing ghee that we'll put on. But what does put on mean? Put on weight means that you are becoming unhealthy, unfit, and weak. Now, if you don't want to become unhealthy, unfit, and weak, and you want to stay strong, and you want to stay lean and have a narrow waist, then you have to have ghee in your food. So ghee is a very special saturated fat. It has a very unique structure of short chain fatty acids. So this, if you include a teaspoon in a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then it promotes fat burning in the body. So for everyone who wants to become a little small on the waist size, who wants smaller arms or lesser thighs or little tummy going inside, then you have to include ghee in your meals. By the virtue of being medical students, you all will know that right now everyone wants immunity, and our vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, all these 4 vitamins are fat soluble vitamins, and they actually help in boosting our immunity. These vitamins are absorbed and assimilated by the body when there is ghee in the diet. So of course, we need ghee in the diet so that our immunity is good. But for everyone who's also weak on vitamin D3, now this is irrespective of the pandemic, okay? Many of us are low on vitamin D3. Our units are almost in single digits. Some people I know who have vitamin D3 in their blood, which is only 8, you know, that's so less. So these are the people who probably can soak themselves in the sun, but still their vitamin D3 won't increase. So what do they need in their diet? They need ghee, because when we get vitamin from sun, it is in the form of vitamin D2. Now for this vitamin D2 to get used by the body, it has to get converted into vitamin D3. Now that happens only when there is ghee in the diet, okay? So include 1 teaspoon of ghee in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The other very important reason why ghee should be in the diet is, you know, these days we have a lot of digestion issues. Some of us cannot clear our stomach all day. Some of us feel very heavy or gassy or bloated. So if you are able to include ghee, then our digestion is taken care of. If you are student, girl student who has period problem, or doctor who has period problem, or cramps during periods, then ghee takes care of your hormonal imbalance. If you are someone who gets tired because you're standing all day at work, or you're sitting and doing a lot of webinars like what you're doing right now, and then you have backache, knee ache, shoulder pain, neck pain, then ghee is what you need. So ghee, 1 teaspoon for breakfast, lunch, dinner, helps you anti-age, helps you burn fat, it gives you good immunity, it improves your digestion, and it keeps your bones strong and good hormonal balance. Okay, so that's my third tip. My fourth tip is about having your dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before going to sleep. Now this is a tough one, right? During pandemic, everyone's bedtime, if it was originally 11, now it has become 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, especially the students. So everyone should eat their dinner 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. But that does not mean that if you're sleeping at 1 o'clock in the night, morning, I don't know what to say, then you eat your dinner at 11. No. So you should go to bed early and eat an early dinner so that you are able to sleep well. And what is it that you should eat for dinner? I hope everyone is going to like this, because you all are from Andhra Pradesh, and this grain that I'm going to talk about is very very much grown in Andhra Pradesh. So for dinner, you must eat rice. Okay, now rice, when we eat it with dal chawal or with curd or like a pulao or a biryani or a khichdi, it really helps you to sleep well. Now, as medical students, you all must be wondering, what is this girl saying? She's saying eat rice, but we all have heard that rice is very bad for us. It is full of carbohydrates. But the fact is that rice is actually a very rich source of protein. Okay, a very special kind of amino acid called the branch chain amino acid. And this is the protein we require in our diet to take care of illnesses, prevent illnesses, or if you've got it, then help you recover. See, this is the reason why when we were little babies, we got off breastfeeding, and the first grain that we were fed was rice in form of kanji or rice soup. And even after we die, the only grain that we offer our ancestors is rice. So rice is very, very nice, and we have to eat it on a daily basis, especially for dinner. The other special thing about rice is it is prebiotic in nature. You know, these days we all know what is probiotic. It is the good bacteria, but prebiotic is the food for good bacteria. So if we eat rice, our stomach, good bacteria will grow, and that is very important for good immunity, good digestion, good sleep, good mood, good health. So eat rice for dinner in different forms, add a ghee to it, and be satiated, sleep well, and enjoy your life. Okay, my fifth tip for all of you is about exercise and sleep, because no good health is only built through food, but it is also built through what we do in our overall lifestyle. So what about exercise? Is it important? The answer is yes. But as students, as NSS volunteers, as doctors, do we exercise? Maybe sometimes. Okay, so it's important that we exercise for 30 minutes every day. See, a pandemic like this, one thing it has done is that it has locked us inside our houses and told us, do what you can do now. And earlier we used to say that I don't have time for exercise and all, I'm very busy. But now we do have a bit time in hand, and we can invest some time to exercise. So whether we are a student, whether we are the vice chancellor, whether we are a doctor, whoever we are, we must exercise for 30 minutes, because exercise knows no hierarchy. Okay, it knows no age. All it wants is a body that exercises and feels good and fit. So 30 minutes exercise every day. So what all can we do for 30 minutes every day? 3 to 5 rounds of Surya Namaskar, some asanas, some strength training like squats and lunges. You know, Rujita shares a lot of easy home exercises which can be done at home without any equipment, on her social media. She has shared a lot of exercises and yoga asanas during the lockdown. So you can check out her Insta page, Facebook page, and see what all exercises you can do. Now, what happens with exercise? Exercise makes sure that you are using joints and muscles that we don't use in daily life, okay, when we are at work. We use joints and muscles because we are exercising. It improves the blood supply, oxygen supply, nutrient supply to different parts of the body. It makes our voluntary, involuntary muscles strong and active, and helps them to function well. It makes our mind calm. It makes our mind strong, and it helps the mind to cope up with the daily hurdles. Okay, so basically exercise is important for both fit body and mind. And then what about activity? Activity is not the same as exercise. Okay, so if you are a doctor and you go to the hospital to do checkups, then when you walk from one ward to the other, it is activity, it is not exercise. If you start running between the wards, then someone will see you and say, "Arey, he's exercising, he's running between the wards." Okay, so you have to know that exercise is anything that is a challenging activity, and an activity is something that you can comfortably do. Like right now I'm talking to you very comfortably, I'm just being active. But if I start jogging and then I'm talking to you, then I will talk like this, "Niharika, can you hear me?" So then that will mean that I am actually exercising. So you have to be active. So walk around in the house, or after sitting for 30 minutes, you make sure you stand up and do what you are doing for 3 minutes. So that's a way of staying active. In the house, offer help to people. Pick up your own plate from the table after eating your meal. Keep it in the kitchen. Do one activity in a week that is dependent on maybe a machine. So that's how you will engage different joints, muscles, and different body parts to stay active and exercise. And Modi ji also said, right, on the first anniversary of Fit India movement, that 30 minutes fitness ka dose har rose. Now when a prime minister says something so strongly to the entire nation, we must follow. Okay, and this is the opportunity we have to stay healthy, active, fit. So exercise for 30 minutes every day. Now what about sleep? Sleep is the most undervalued aspect of our health. We feel that only if we eat and if we exercise, we can stay healthy and fit. No, the truth is that sleep is very, very important to stay healthy and fit. National Geographic last year, the entire National Geographic volume for 2019 was about sleep, because there's so much research happening on sleep, and research is saying that sleep decides how healthy you will be in your body and in your mind. So it's very important that of course you go to bed early, at least an hour earlier than what your current bedtime is. So if you're sleeping at 12, then you start sleeping at 11. If you're sleeping at 1 a.m., then you start sleeping at 12. So prepone your bedtime. That will ensure that your body and mind recovers. Now when your body will recover, when your mind will recover, your immunity will be good. There's a hormone in our body called the human growth hormone. Now, this hormone peaks naturally between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. What time do we go to sleep? 1 a.m., 2 a.m. What time do we wake up? Many of us, the students especially, maybe 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. So what happens to this human growth hormone? We don't make use of it. So if we go to bed close to 9 p.m., maybe somewhere between 10 to 11, and we wake up early, that is when our body is able to naturally peak in human growth hormone. Now, human growth hormone helps to correct hormonal imbalance. It helps in regrowth of hair, good skin, good mood, boosting immunity and fat burning. And for anyone who has non-communicable diseases. What are non-communicable diseases? Diseases which don't spread through touch. Okay, like it's not COVID. COVID is not non-communicable disease. COVID is communicable disease. So if you have someone who sneezes around you, you may get it. So non-communicable diseases are diabetes, cancer, blood pressure, heart health, respiratory issues. These are non-communicable diseases. So anyone who has diabetes, BP, cancer, anything like that, you have to sleep early, because if you sleep early, then this human growth hormone is able to keep you disease free. Now, the other thing that we all do before we go to bed, the last thing that we all do before we go to bed is check our phone. Now, we check our phone for what? For nothing, just to see maybe what time did my friend see her last WhatsApp, or maybe what is on Instagram, what is new on Facebook, or what is new on I don't know what, Snapchat or something. So it is very, very important that 30 minutes before you go to sleep, you avoid using gadgets, because that will make sure that your sleep quality is good and your body completely recovers. Okay. So these are very easy tips that we must follow. If not all 5, then at least start with the first 2 and then include the third one, then include the fourth one, and then you do all 5. So I'm going to quickly recap my 5 pointers so that I can then take all the questions that you all have written in your chat box. So you can write your questions in the chat box and I'll be taking them in a short while. So the first tip for good health is to start your day with a fresh fruit or a handful of dry fruits, and then you have your chai or coffee in the day. Okay. The second tip is to eat every 2 to 3 hours and avoid big meal gaps. So have a fruit or sharbat or nuts or a laddu between breakfast and lunch, and have a wholesome snack like poha, idli chutney, or dosha between 4 to 6 p.m. The third tip is to include 1 teaspoon of juice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for strong bones, good digestion, and fat burning. The fourth tip is to have an early dinner which is 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Okay, and preferably have rice for dinner. And the fifth tip is about doing 30 minutes exercise every day and staying active and going to bed at least an hour early than your current bedtime, and avoiding gadget usage for 30 minutes before you sleep. Yeah. So I'm just going to the chat box, Niharika, and I'm seeing the questions. Do you want me to take up the questions from there?
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Oh, someone saying, Ankit is saying we're not from Andhra, ma'am. We don't eat usually rice. Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Soumya,
Many
small-
of you all are not from Andhra, and you all could be.
Yes, small request. Soumya, small request. So
Yes,
before
sir.
we start a question answer session, I request Registrar Sir to give conclusive remarks, because Sir is waiting.
Sure,
Sir's
sure.
concluding remarks, then we can have a question answer session. You can go ahead and give the conclusive remarks, sir.
Hello, good morning to all, and good morning to Vice Chancellor Garu, who has given the Honorable Vice Chancellor given the inaugural address, and then all NSS volunteers and our coordinators, and especially today Chief Guest, our resource person Soumya Gupta. Good morning, madam. And we missed Rujita Divekar today. However, you are compensated. You have given very good tips to all the health professionals. So topic, the nutrition for health in public is different, and nutrition for healthcare professionals in COVID era is different. I think so, because that is different. This is different. So, however, you told very nicely which are the practicable things. Actually, especially when I deal with the nutritionist, I have many queries regarding the practicability. So practicability following diet is very, very important in India, in most of the people. But healthcare professionals, I think your advices can be followed. I think so, but it is also difficult. So what you told, that is dry foods, and it's very, very difficult to maintain a house of living 5-6 people, madam. So everybody have to take, so only I cannot take this dry foods in the house. So everybody have to take. So then how much have to spend over the dry foods, and you can imagine that. So of course, but we are the key persons, as you said, in the society. We are the key, but we means the health, medical and paramedical people who are the key person. First, we should be healthy to treat the other people. So it's very nice, and I think all the people are waiting for questions for you. And before that, I say we are living at present very crucial era, COVID pandemic. And we are all living in pseudo optimism. There's latest Lancet revealed that we are living pseudo optimism. What is the pseudo optimism means? COVID gone, COVID slowing, COVID gone, COVID will go. So this is pseudo optimism. But as per Lancet observation, that is not correct. We are not in a slowing stage. Actually, we are the rising stage. We are in all Indian people, especially. In the rising stage. So unfortunately, people are thinking it is a going, gone, slowing. The words they are using, that is very, but everybody have to hear, and we should take more and more precautions in this COVID era. And as you said, in addition to the diet, and we have to follow all the 3 important principles: maintaining the distance, and wearing the mask, and sanitizing, using sanitizer and soap. And the 3 is here, mandatory for probably it may take a year or 2 years, I don't know. But in addition, we have to take a good diet, what you advise, and practically you told, very nice. And in the world, you can say, why I'm telling is not any exaggerating or making you fear. So in the world itself, out of all cases, COVID cases, our position is 18% in the world, 18% COVID cases in the world. By that, you can imagine how much magnitude for this problem you can imagine. And also you can say cases also 65 lakhs we are having 65 lakhs. That means that if the 65 lakhs of the cases we are having, that is India. And that is the figure. And if you go to the deaths of the global scenario, if you come to the 10 lakhs death occurred. 10 lakhs death occurred in world nation country, that is international wide. So out of these 10 lakhs, so India occupied the 1 lakh deaths. So you can imagine. So out of 10 lakhs, so we occupied the 1 lakh deaths. So that means for every 10 deaths, so India is taking 1 death. For every 10 deaths in the world, so India taking 1 death. So this is a very dangerous situation we are living. All statistics. So shortly, so recently we are at 3rd position after America and Brazil, and 3rd position India. So it is not, I think very shortly we are going to reach the top position, undoubtedly. So this is a very critical area, and we are all, especially NSS volunteers, and we are boosting, madam. We are very thankful because very simple advices. We are boosting our NSS volunteers. So these NSS volunteers will spread the message to all over the country, and especially Andhra Pradesh. And Andhra Pradesh is also in a dangerous zone, madam. At present, we are in the 4th position. In Andhra Pradesh itself is a 2nd position in the India. India itself 2nd position in the case after Maharashtra. AP in cases wise is the 2nd position we are living, and death rate is 4th position in India, madam. So this is a very alarming position we are living. So in this time, especially the people, medical and paramedical NSS pilots should be healthy to treat the other patients. And you are told nicely, but we cannot say a diet is not a magic bullet for the COVID prevention, madam. Already we told that is 3 things we have to follow. In addition to this 3, what I told, what we have given, and my opinion, because I am a physician, practitioner, pulmonologist, pharmacologist, now registrar. Okay. My opinion, of course, it's not any deviation from your talk. So I advise all the people, you can take normal diet as you are taking. There's no problem. I think so. So you can take normal diet. And my advice regarding the diet, three things I can tell, 3 or 4 things, especially on my behalf, either missed by the our Soumya, I don't know. Bosa, she's a specialist in nutrition, so I cannot counter her. But I request all the NSS volunteers, health professionals, first the intake of the sugar. You have to reduce the intake of the sugar and sweet, that is sugar made sweets, everything as possible as you reduce. That is first thing. And second thing is the salt. We have to reduce the salt as possible as. And third thing, what you can say, that is the increase intake of water, that is the hydration. Hydration is very, very important. Continuously have to take water, continually maintain the hydration. And fourth point is, out of fruit, you advise the first fruit. That fruit, madam, my suggestion is the not any fruit, but it's a better the citrus fruit. Citrus fruit most preferable for especially for which contain orange, lemon, whatever is the nimbu, whatever is the citrus fruit, which is having the highest vitamin C content, which gives us this all. So many drugs, so many are there, so many vitamins, so many trace elements, but the only proved beyond that which boosts our immunity is the vitamin C. Vitamin C in this especially against the virus. So I request these 4 for regarding the dietary advices. And as Soumya told, especially the exercise, minimum exercise is a must. So we cannot say only a diet. Minimum exercise is also very important. And what you can say, sleep 6 to 8 hours we have to make sleep. And nicely told, because though not in a very what is a descriptive way, in a simple way, Soumya told precautions, because which you can follow like that gap, giving 2 to 3 hours between dinner and sleep. That is a very, very good advice we have to follow. And she also not given much limitations for the food. She allowed us, actually South Indian food she allowed to take. Thank you, because without that South Indian food, our people cannot live, madam. You are very friendly for diet also. Very nicely. And one more, my advice is especially out of these things. And one more important thing is in COVID situation, NSS volunteers and your family members and others, friends and everything. So comorbid conditions, especially people suffering with all the diabetes, hypertension, and renal compromission, and we can say some cardiac problems, all these things. You have to control these disorders with proper medication. That is very, very vital. So without control of this, all the now deaths are occurring with these comorbid conditions who are not under control, only. So that is the main problem. So we have to control our comorbid conditions. And finally, so last thing is, I request out of all these things, that is our in COVID situation, that is the moral support to the COVID infected patients, and family support, friends support, and we have to create a confidence in the patients. That is, we have to give a lot of confidence. That is very, very important, crucial, the final thing. So that will give most immunity boost up will give. If you have support, moral support, they will have more immunity. So if I have support, I will develop more immunity. I will boost my immunity. So that support we have to give, being paramedical people, NS volunteers, we have to give to the others who are suffering and who are suffering. Also, we have to give a lot of moral support. We have to give, madam. So this is my opinion, madam. So we are very great. All the way you came to this webinar, given nice, simple tips, which are very, very nice, because already I told dietitian means we fear a lot, because they tell us all give the much timetable like that, which you cannot practicable, but you have given a very nice practicable way you have given. We are very thankful. Now all the people are waiting for questions, madam. So be ready, madam. We are all very happy. And so this once again, I thanks for all the participants. And Krishna Prasad Garu is, I think, one of the principals of Dental College. He sponsored this program. He has given the webinar participation. Webex he has given donated to today to the entire UHS. He has a little bit technological problem with the entire UHS. So I'm very thankful, Krishna Prasad Garu. So once again, I'm thankful to all. I open the session to again Soumya Gupta. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much. I want to convey really very much thanks for Dr. Shankar Garu for his concluding remarks, because even though it is a holiday, sir is there in the office, absolutely, and he came to office just to attend the meeting. Thank you very much, sir, for your support and your very brief concluding remarks on Poshan Maha, and even there are some remarks on COVID for our volunteers. So at the bottom of my heart, I am very much thankful for Vice Chancellor sir and Registrar sir being always with us and supporting all the NSS activities. And here I am very much thankful once again to my Dean, Dr. L. Krishna Prasad Garu, because today he has also graced our program. Thank you very much, sir. And today our logistical support has been provided by my institute, Shivaar Institute of Dental Sciences. Thank you once again. Now I request our team members to continue with the question answer session, and you complete all the question answer session, because we are having enough of time to answer all the questions, and don't leave any questions unattempted, because we want all our volunteers to be very much aware about the diet and the consequences of diet. I want everybody to be healthy, irrespective of the tensions and COVID. Thank you once again. Please, Niharika, you can continue with the question answers.
Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Shankar Garu, sir, for the brief concluding remarks, and I thank ma'am. That was a really informative session, and I'm sure each one of us have gained some important take-home messages from your talk, ma'am. So now we will go over to the question answer session, as our audience is really inquisitive and we have received a lot of questions. So ma'am, will it be comfortable for you to directly take over the question, or should we help you out with the receiving out of the questions, ma'am?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, please unmute yourself, ma'am.
So sorry. Yes. Niharika, I'll be okay to take the questions directly from the chat. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So the first question, where someone was asking about rice not being their staple diet, and they're not from Andhra Pradesh. Then someone's asked me about rice for diabetics, and what about other grains and millets? Okay. So first of all, for anyone who does not belong to Andhra Pradesh and maybe is from another part of India, so the thing is that you can eat the grain or the grain for dinner that has been your traditional practice. And most of us have eaten things like khichdi or dal rice for dinner. So if you're not from Andhra Pradesh, eat dal rice maybe a few days for dinner and not every day. But those who are South Indian or from Andhra Pradesh, then they will prefer to have rice for dinner every day. So you can have meals as per your own family practice. Okay. What about rice for diabetes or comorbidities? So the thing is that rice, like I said, is a very rich source of protein. It is also very rich source of vitamins, minerals, and microminerals that provides nourishment to the body. How do we eat rice? We eat rice in combinations. We never eat rice just by itself. So we eat it with a pulse, we eat it with a dal, we eat it with curd, we cook it well, we add ghee, we add oil to it. The moment we add any fat to rice, which is in the form of ghee or oil or curd, the meal's glycemic index, and we all understand the meaning of glycemic index. It's the rate at which our blood sugar rises in the blood. So the rate at which the blood sugar rises after eating a meal of rice which has curd or ghee or oil or is cooked well, becomes medium to low. So for diabetics also, because diabetes or any comorbid or any lifestyle disease is because of deprivation of nourishment in cells, that is why the body is trying so hard to deal with it, and the body is having a comorbidity. If you eat rice, then you will get nourishment. So like Sham sir was saying, if you have a disease, your requirements for minerals, nutrients increases, so rice helps you to deal with that, which is why even when we get fever, we are given rice for meals, because it's easy to digest, it gives you the nourishment, and it helps you to recover. What about other grains and millets like foxtail or jawar or bajra? See, in India, the culture of eating grains or millets is season specific and tradition specific. So a grain or a millet like jawar, it is eaten in summer. Bajra is eaten in winter. Foxtail can be eaten around 12 months round the year. Wheat can be eaten 12 months round the year. Rice can be eaten 12 months round the year. Nachni or ragi or finger millet, it is also eaten mostly during summers or during monsoons. So eat the grain or the millet as per the season. Now, does it mean that rice is fattening because the weight loss industry tells us, or wheat is bad because the West told us about gluten free? No, because the way Indians eat wheat and rice, it is in combinations with meals and a wholesome meal. Okay, we don't eat bread, pizza, pasta, burger every day, 3 meals a day. Now, what about other grains and millets? Include them in your diet, but you don't need to replace rice and wheat, because someone who's from Andhra Pradesh, how can you not eat rice? How can you not eat South Indian food? Okay, so eat a South Indian food and include other millets also. So that's about millets. So I also wanted to add that all these 5 tips that are good habits for all you health professionals are also what you can suggest to your patients who are recovering from COVID. Because like I was saying, that good health comes from good habits. How does good immunity come? Good immunity comes if your health is good. So if anyone who wants to prevent themselves from getting COVID or any kind of disease and help people recover from it, then they have to follow a normal daily routine of good habits. That is when their immunity will get boosted. Okay. Also in our Indian food wisdom, there are 3 things that I will tell you which are very good for immunity boosting that can help you right now. One is haldi doodh, turmeric milk. We all know that the West is talking about turmeric latte, golden milk, right? But our grandmothers have always taught us to have turmeric milk once in the day for its antibacterial, antiviral, therapeutic properties. So this is one thing that you can include in your diet. The good time to have it is before you go to sleep. The other thing is, a mixture of ghee, jaggery, dry ginger powder, and turmeric. If you just mix them in equal amounts, make small round size balls and have it like once or twice in the day, then that will take care of the congestion, throat irritation, cough, or respiratory issues. The third thing that you must include in the daily diet for better immunity or for recovery from COVID is amla. Amla is the richest source of vitamin C. Now, how do we eat amla? We eat amla in form of pickle, chutney, murabba, or even sun-dried candies of amla. So if you include amla every day, then you will get a dose of vitamin C and your immunity will be good. So these 3 things are good for immunity: the ghee, jaggery, dry ginger, turmeric balls, haldi doodh, and amla. Okay. Okay. Someone's asking me what kind of fruits can be recommended for a diabetic person. Very interesting. Fruits that a diabetic person or anyone who has lifestyle diseases The fruits they should eat are the ones that grow seasonally and the ones that grow locally to where they live. So which are the fruits that grow mostly locally in every part of India? Banana. Okay, but what do we feel? If a diabetic will eat banana, his blood sugars will increase. But that's not true, because all fruits contain the same fruit sugar called fructose. Okay, and fruits like banana, chiku, grapes, mango, jackfruit are they all have low to medium fructose, which means that once we eat these fruits, our blood sugars will increase steadily. In fact, mango is now being researched by the West and is asked by the American Diabetic Association and WHO to be fed, to be the first, like the first mango of the season should be given to a diabetic by is what is ADA recommending, because mango has a nutrient called mangiferin, which is anti-diabetic. And now, even not now but very soon, drugs to deal with diabetics from mango will be procured, so we can rather just eat mango, because we have the world's best mango in Andhra Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in every part of India. So banana, chiku, grapes, mango, jackfruit are all fruits that you can give a diabetic. Okay, fermented foods good for our heart? Yes, fermented foods are good for our gut bacteria. Okay, fermented foods like curd, pickles, South Indian meals, what else? Sprouts. These are fermented foods that are good for our gut bacteria, which takes care of our heart, which takes care of our lungs, which takes care of every organ in the body, our skin, our hair, our immunity, our mood, everything. In fact, the gut health is also the most researched thing now, and it has been declared as one of the organs, because until now we never called the gut the organ, but gut is now also been called an organ because it plays an important role in our overall health. So fermented foods are good for your heart and for your gut and for every organ of the body. Someone's asked, can we have breakfast in our routine after the dry fruits in the morning? The answer is yes. So the tip to start a day with the fruit and dry fruit is to make sure that you're not having chai or coffee on empty stomach, but you're having first the fruit or the dry fruit, then your chai or coffee, and then breakfast, of course. So please don't skip breakfast. Diet for low hemoglobin levels. So anyone who has low hemoglobin levels, first most important tip is to cook food in iron vessels. Okay, so we mostly will have steel, aluminium vessels in the house, but if you start cooking food in iron vessel, iron levels in the body, ferritin and hemoglobin levels in the body increase. Second, there are these seeds called Adev seeds. Adev is the Maharashtrian name, but in English it's called garden cress seeds, and in Hindi it's called halim seeds. They're very small red color seeds. They look like flaxseed, but they're not flaxseed. If you include these seeds in your diet in form of a laddu, or you add it to your milk, your hemoglobin levels will increase. Rujuta has written an entire chapter on olive seeds, on garden cress seeds, in her book Indian Superfoods, so you can refer to that. So iron vessels and olive seeds for hemoglobin. Effects of taking high amount of caffeine. See, effects of taking high amount of anything is not good. Okay, so whether it's caffeine, whether it's tea, whether it is food, anything in excess is harmful. So caffeine will lead to dehydration, it will lead to sugar cravings, it will lead to low energy levels, basically fluctuations in your energy levels. I'll take last two questions, Niharika. I'm running short on time. For skin, we need collagen. So in which food we found collagen to keep our skin healthy? Okay, 3 foods that keep our collagen intact and skin healthy. One is sugar. So sugar made from the sugar cane sugar is what helps us to keep our collagen in place. Sugar is rich in a nutrient called alpha hydroxy acid, AHA. Okay. Now, right now in the West and even in India, all our cosmetic products are being made with addition of sugar. Okay. So sugar is one thing that keeps our collagen intact. The second food that keeps our collagen intact is rice, because it is rich in the protein branched amino acid. So it helps our body to maintain muscle collagen and keep our skin nice and taut. The third food that helps our skin to stay good is ghee, because see, you know, every grandmother looks very nice and young, and she doesn't look only that she's old. Her skin is flawless, her bones are strong, and she doesn't look her age because they have eaten ghee all their life. So ghee is another food that helps us to anti-age and keeps our skin glowing and nice. So ghee, rice and sugar for good skin. What foods can be eaten to control PCOS? So anyone who has PCOS or any hormonal issues, you know, all our foods that we eat during fast, like the sabudana, or you know, our roots and tubers like yam, sweet potato, arbi, they are good. Our sprouted pulses, you know, so if you start including pulses in sprouted form through the week, they are good for PCOD or hormonal imbalance. Rice, ghee, coconut, very good for hormonal imbalance. So Rujita has written an entire chapter and in her book called PCOD and Thyroid. So you can read that PCOD chapter and follow the strategies for your hormonal imbalance. The last question that I will take is about skin and hair. So what to do for healthy hair and growth, and what to do for, oh no, someone is saying they get pimples because of ghee. Okay, so see, we mainly get pimples or bad skin because of not ghee, but because of other things that we do in our lifestyle. We sleep late, we don't drink enough water, we eat packaged and processed foods, we drink cola, juices, chocolates, chips, biscuits. So bad skin is the result of all of these things and not because of ghee. Ghee is a time-tested food which has proven itself enough to make sure or tell you that, listen, if you eat ghee, the skin is glowing and it is clear and you don't get pimples. Yeah. So eat less of packaged processed food, sleep early, stay well hydrated, and your skin will improve. For hair, coconut is very important, and the garden cress seeds are very important. So include coconut, include rice, include garden cress seeds, and the hair quality will improve. See, all South Indians have great hair. They have great skin. Why? Because they eat a lot of coconut. They are very active. They eat ghee that they add to their food. So we have to just follow what our grandmothers have taught us and not question it, because they have only passed down oral food wisdom to ensure that we stay healthy and fit, and then when we become doctors, we take care of the world. Yeah, great. So Niharika, that's it from my end for today. I had a great time chatting with all of you all, and really interesting questions these were.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a really helpful and insightful answers given by you, ma'am. Now I request our program coordinator, Dr. Vivekanand Garu, to give away the certificate of appreciation to Ms. Soumya Gupta.
At the outset, I am very much thankful to Soumya Gupta for being with us for more than 1 hour, because her stipulated time was till 12 o'clock, but she has spared 15 minutes more and enlightened all our participants. I am very much thankful, and this is a certificate of appreciation which we are going to mail you, ma'am, and hard copy maybe we'll send it within a week time. So Niharika will coordinate for sending a hard copy by taking the address from you. So once again, let me thank as a NSS University coordinator from NSS family and all the NSS authorities from Dr. NTR Health University, Vice Chancellor sir and Registrar sir. So we thank you very much for your very brief points which we supposed to inculcate in everyday practice, because what the people will believe is different and how they practice is different. but you have given a very practicable thoughts, and which they have to inculcate. As Registrar Sir has told very clearly, no, the dietitian means long of list, which cannot be practiced. It is not so. So very useful tips, handy tips, and they are into numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which all our volunteers will definitely adopt in their life, and they will become healthy to serve the nation. So with this, once again, I thank, and so you go ahead with the program, Niharika, so that you can conclude the program.
Thank you, sir. I, on behalf of Dr. NTRU HS NSS Cell and the entire organizing team, extend my thanks to all the dignitaries for gracing this occasion and for sharing your knowledge with us, and my wholehearted special thanks to Ms. Soumya ma'am for attending this session and for enlightening us regarding nutrition, which is very essential in today's life. Finally, I would like to thank Dr. Vivekanand Kattimani, our program coordinator, and Dr. LKP sir, our Dean for Sibar Institute of Dental Sciences, Guntur, for the logistics support extended for this program. I would also like to thank all the participants who were present throughout the program, without whom the success wouldn't have been successful at all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Niharika. It was wonderful being a part of this webinar.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Now I request Saranya and Arif to end the program. Thank you.